Welcome to Millbrook and Trevor Zoo. I'm Leigh Schmitt, and I want to welcome you to this month's episode of Live from the Trevor Zoo. It's great to be with you this afternoon. At Millbrook School, I'm the Director of Stewardship and Sustainability. I've been working in education for 22 years, and this is my third year as part of the science department at Millbrook, where I teach environmental science and botany. I have a bachelor's degree in plant and soil sciences and a master's in conservation biology. I've been living here at Millbrook since 2018 with my wife, Lisa, and our two children. My son, Forrest, is a fourth former here at Millbrook, and my daughter, Ingrid, is currently at Indian Mountain School, where Lisa is the director of secondary school placement. I'm also director of Millbrook's Community Service Program, dorm parent in Burton Dorm, head coach of the cross-country teams, and boys JV lacrosse. Previously, I was a teacher and researcher at the Island School in Cape Eleuthera, the Bahamas, where I lived with my family for 5 years. While there, Lisa and I published a book, Wild Bahamas, an illustrated encyclopedia of the Bahamas, sun, sand, and sea, from A to Z. While teaching at the Island School, I had a number of students from Millbrook that attended the semester program. I always appreciated the high level of intellect and curiosity that they added to the semester experience. Then, about 4 years ago, I met Kathy Havard at a Carney Sando job fair in Boston. We hit it off really well, and I knew right away that I would enjoy collaborating with her. And the rest, as they say, is history. Although I miss those clear and warm Bahamian waters and the bright sunshine, I feel as though my family and I are very fortunate to have landed in a supportive and nurturing community here at Millbrook. Just a reminder, please feel free to ask questions throughout today's episode. Type them in the comments, and we'll answer them towards the end of the show. So, April 22nd is Earth Day, and this month's episode of Live from the Trevor Zoo, we're going to talk about what we do at Millbrook to celebrate the Earth every day, and how we instill the values of stewardship into the lives of our students. Earth Day was founded in 1970, more than 50 years ago, as a day of education about environmental issues. Earth Day is now a global celebration that sometimes extends into Earth Week, a full 7 days of events focused on green living. The brainchild of Senator Gaylord Nelson and inspired by protests of the 1960s, Earth Day began as a national teach-in on the environment and was held on April 22nd to maximize the number of students that could be reached on university campuses. By raising public awareness of pollution, Nelson hoped to bring environmental causes into the national spotlight. At Millbrook, I'd like to think we have been concerned about the environment since 1931, when the school was founded by Edward Pulling. In fact, it was Pulling's desire to establish the school in a natural environment, away from urban development, so that he could have his, quote, boys go out and enjoy nature every day. It is literally written in the school's mission and the first brochure where Pulling wrote, "The purpose of Millbrook School is to give boys a liberal education and a healthy outdoor life to prepare them for college." When he purchased the 225-acre farm that became Millbrook School, he found the bucolic landscape we now enjoy and appreciate amongst the rolling hills of Dutchess County. Stewardship is woven into the fabric of the Millbrook experience. First and foremost, our curriculum is rich with environmentally themed content, be it our science master courses in field biology, botany, animal behavior, or environmental science, core science courses such as biology, or the senior level independent student research. Students can also take unique, nature-infused courses like literature of the ocean, economics, ceramics, and social justice. In recent years, we have revamped our third form curriculum so that students learn about the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals in global geography and get outside most Saturdays for our form programming blocks. Within our community service program, students are literally stewards of this place in a variety of different ways. Participation in the Recycling and Environmental Council community services are prime examples. The campus has two huge environmental pillars, the Trevor Zoo and the Millbrook School Farm. Both the farm and the zoo serve as integral components to the classroom, community service, and even sports alternative offerings. Many of our campus facilities are trending towards green, 2 LEED certified buildings, 5 geothermal systems, and a 7-acre solar array. Our South Campus, chock full of diverse habitats, begs for student exploration. Amongst our now 880 bucolic acres, the community has access to a marsh boardwalk, a canopy walkway, a low ropes course, preserve farmland, and miles of cross-country trails. In 2020, Millbrook School achieved carbon neutrality through the purchase of offsets, a first and true milestone for any high school in the United States. And much of the research and the funding was leveraged by student initiative, determination, and drive. Stewardship is a dynamic, evolving process, and I am absolutely honored to play a part in supporting this core value at Millbrook. And to share those values today, I'd like to introduce you to a number of our students who will play an integral role in our community. They're going to share with you their Millbrook experience and their hopes and dreams for a better, greener future.
Hi, I'm Allie Rosensweig, and I'm a fifth former here at Millbrook. I'm part of the Environmental Council Community Service, and our mission is to address outdated systems on campus that may contribute to a weak environment while also coming up with new ways to preserve, innovate, and appreciate our campus. There are 5 members on the council, with a few others who participate when they can. However, all of our decisions affect and take into consideration the entire student body, so I would consider everyone on campus a part as well. We meet 4 times a week for about 2 hours total each week. In Environmental Council, we work on instilling ecologically friendly practices into our school's culture, whether it be providing reusable water bottles and filling stations, making sure our compost bins in the dining hall run properly and effectively, or encouraging a plant-based diet through Meatless Mondays. Taking care of the planet is so deeply important because it provides us with stability and beauty. Preserving its resources encourages a healthy relationship between nature and humans, always thinking about what we are taking and what we can do to give back. Protecting the environment and making sure everyone has access to nature and environmentally friendly practices ensures a step towards equality. In the future, I hope Environmental Council can encourage more of the student body to actively participate in green practices. Especially during this pandemic, it is even more important to get outside and use the campus's resources to your advantage. In an effort to get students outside, the Environmental Council has designed a camping area in our South Campus that can be used for peer bonding, our human development program, Saturday programming, and outdoor education. We have also worked on our own disc golf course for this spring. I believe the biggest issue that will affect our future is simply the mentality that one person cannot change or reverse the negative effects their practices have on the environment. I feel like a lot of people see eco-friendly as stopping climate change through these big events, like retrofitting our campus with only clean energy sources, or removing all waste from our oceans, or passing laws that prevent excessive amounts of air pollution. While these are all huge things that benefit the environment, simply taking shorter showers, using reusable water bottles and masks, turning off the lights when you leave a room, or making sure to recycle contribute more than they think to combating climate change. If everyone thinks this way, we can collectively preserve what we have left. The Environmental Council reaches out to the community and encourages everyone to participate in those examples. Mr. Schmidt does a great job of approaching students with an enthusiasm that directly affects the way our community views ecologically friendly innovations. My message to younger students is that being involved in our campus in a way where you can control how we treat it helps the community in ways we don't usually think about. There are so many important jobs on campus, and while it is everyone's responsibility to live sustainably, being a part of the Environmental Council is the first step to engage the community in ecologically friendly practices that make their lives easier and our campus cleaner. Leading the Millbrook community in environmental awareness is essential to a strong and just school culture.
Hi, my name is Stephen Pizzel, and I am a 3-year fifth former from Kent, Connecticut. I am also one of the student curators at the zoo. The Trevor Zoo Community Service, which is Millbrook's largest community service group, is where students take part in tending to the various animals we have both on and off exhibit. We have endangered and non-endangered species, and we must know how to care for each animal, whether it concerns feeding, enrichment, enclosure cleaning, and more. Dozens of students participate, and we meet every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Saturday morning. It is optional for zooies to come down in the evenings for PM feeds, but curators must come down to the zoo every day, sometimes twice. We even have alternating curator shifts for the weekends to help out when we don't have community service. Being a curator means that we must know how to take care of every exhibit and building at the zoo. We also have the responsibility of leading zooies and completing various tasks during the community service blocks. At the zoo, we are very conscious of doing things to help protect the planet, from conservation and composting. The zoo cares for several endangered species like red pandas, lemurs, and red wolves. As an AZA accredited zoo, we participate in SSPs, Species Survival Plans, which are endangered species breeding programs. Also, local injured animals are often brought to the zoo to receive treatment, so hopefully they can be released back into the wild. All waste, whether it be food or soiled hay and bedding, is composted. Enrichment items for the animals are also reused, and so is leftover food. Personally, my hopes for the zoo are that we can expand and potentially take care of more wildlife species. I also hope that endangered species we have at the Trevor Zoo will eventually make a rebound in the wild. Extinction is a travesty, and I feel like it is so important to help these species as much as we can. I care about protecting wildlife and the planet because it helps the Earth's ecosystems. Pollution, deforestation, and poaching can have terrible effects on plants and animals, including humans regarding health and safety. If the planet is not protected, there would be a massive imbalance in plant and animal populations, while resources would deplete even faster than they already are, slowly making the land uninhabitable. I think the biggest environmental issue that could affect the future is definitely pollution. Air pollution and water pollution are already taking severe tolls on the human body, and even more of a toll on plants and other animals around the world. These forms of pollution lead to much hotter temperatures, which can melt ice and raise sea levels. This would eventually flood and destroy entire cities and countries. This is already happening in certain parts of the world, like Indonesia, Kiribati, Tuvalu, and the Maldives. Deforestation is another significant issue because it is responsible for the habitat loss and deaths of millions of animals and plants. For our part to address these issues, Millbrook School has become carbon neutral and tries to create as little waste as possible. We have a gigantic solar field, which is responsible for powering much of the Millbrook campus. On a global scale, many nations are switching to cleaner forms of energy, like hydroelectricity, solar, wind, and nuclear energy. Countries must take further action to stop poaching and deforestation as well. My message to students is this: you should really start caring about your impact on the environment. After all, you will eventually begin to contribute to society and live in the world we create. It is up to the younger generations to try and protect the planet, because it is us who will be dealing with the consequences when the future comes along. We have inherited many problems that concern the safety of the Earth and all the organisms that exist here, so we must try our hardest to set an example and resolve these issues as soon as possible, before it is too late to reverse the effects of pollution, deforestation, poaching, excessive hunting, overfishing, and waste.
Hello, my name is Forrest. I'm a fourth former from Millbrook, New York, and I'm a leader at the Millbrook Farm. The Millbrook Farm is a beautiful part of the campus and provides produce for the dining hall, as well as an opportunity for students to establish a connection with the earth and see where their food comes from, at least some of it. Additionally, it allows students to participate in our community service program and be active members of the school community. In addition to the several farm leaders, the entire third form participates and gets involved with the farm. Each new student will work in rotations on the farm, either in the fall, winter, or spring. On the farm, we plant and collect a variety of produce, as well as weed and tend to the gardens. This spring, we have been incubating eggs on the farm in hopes to add chickens, which I think will be very exciting. It would be great for the school to produce its own eggs. Personally, I care about the planet because it is what supports us and sustains all life. If it is mistreated, it could result in disastrous effects for us all. Currently, there are many major issues related to the environment. These include things like climate change, air pollution, and a depletion of our natural resources. If we don't act soon, some of these changes will become irreversible. While some solutions are being implemented in the world, I believe there is much more that can be done. Specifically, a majority of CO2 emissions are attributed to large corporations, and I believe regulations, alongside an effective carbon tax, would help to solve some of these issues. I also believe that we need to work together as a global community to achieve our goals. While certain countries can, and have, led by example, it needs to be a global effort. My message to younger students is that they should get involved with the things that they are passionate about. After all, we, the younger generation, are the future. We have become a powerful voice for climate change activism, and we can continue to be so.
Hello, my name is Schmidt. I'm a fifth former from Cortland Manor, New York, and I work in the Recycling Community Service. At Millbrook, the Recycling Community Service consists of students who are put in charge of a specific area or place around campus. At these destinations are either big rolling bins that are usually for dorms and small red or blue bins that are placed around the campus for use by the community. During the community service blocks, our students go to their assigned sites and take the bins back to the recycling shed where the recyclable materials are properly sorted and disposed of. There are about 36 students who participate in the Recycling Community Service, and all new students spend 1/3 of their first year at Millbrook participating. We work in informing and educating the community about the importance of recycling. We also make sure that all the recycling that is on campus is disposed of properly. I have a lot of hopes for the future of the recycling program and the recycling productivity that Millbrook has taken on. I really hope that Millbrook continues to create an environment where recycling is encouraged and strongly advocated to our students and faculty. The planet is our home and our only home. There isn't another planet for us that has all the resources we need to survive. There needs to be a clean environment in order to have a healthy life for all people on Earth. Right now, the Earth is incredibly polluted with toxic waste, trash, plastic, and untreated sewage. I want to see the planet thrive, so future generations can grow up with the Earth that isn't polluted. I think the biggest issue facing us as a whole are ocean pollution, the destruction of natural habitats, and not taking global warming and climate changes seriously. With all the ocean pollution and plastic out there, eventually there will be little to no aquatic life left because of the amount of trash in the water is severely impacting their ability to survive and reproduce. As for the destruction of natural habitats, wild animals' homes are being destroyed and they are forced closer and closer to human society with no protection or understanding how to survive in an urban environment. This puts both wildlife and humans at risk. Global warming directly affects my future because there's going to be, and already has been, such a change in the world's climate that it's taking us all by surprise. The polar ice caps are melting right now, and our children will think of the polar bears and penguins as animals that are just in books. They won't actually exist anymore because their habitats are being destroyed. There are, however, many people and programs that are trying to address these issues. I think that if they continue to do their work and focus on the end goals, there can really be a huge change in the world to either reverse the impacts of climate change or at least slow it down significantly. There is hope, and there is huge awareness for positive change. My message to other students is that there is no other Earth, no other place to go right now. Without our planet, there will be no future for anyone or anything. Everyone is in danger if the lack of education and the neglect of our environment increases or stays the same as it is right now. I want to encourage people to do the little things like recycling, consuming less, reusing things, and seeking out products that are eco-friendly. If each person does something small in their day that is good for the environment, then it will benefit us all and help our planet survive.
Environmental stewardship is one of Millbrook's 5 core values and has been an important part of Millbrook's programs and philosophical direction since the school's founding. As you have seen today from our current students, our commitment to being stewards of the natural world is clearly evident. We share our environmental direction and practices with other schools and community groups, and we always are looking for ways to increase our environmental effectiveness. Together, we can work to promote environmental education, activism, and sustainability. The Trevor Zoo is participating in AZA's Party for the Planet campaign. This year, the focus is on healthy habitats, to clean, create, and connect with nature. EarthDay.org is partnering with AZA to promote and collect data from cleanup events around the planet. Check it out at globalearthchallenge.earthday.org. The Global Earth Challenge app is a citizen science-based application that can be utilized in numerous ways to contribute scientific data from your local environment. As you work to clean up your communities, you will also help to gather data on types of pollution that is being collected at your events. If you enter the code AZA2021 for your cleanups, it will count towards Party for the Planet. If you have already downloaded the app from 2020, simply click on your profile, the little person in the upper right-hand corner, and add AZA 2021 as the organizational code. Have fun, be safe, and welcome to the great global cleanup. AZA is partnering with the National Wildlife Federation to expand native habitats from AZA-accredited facilities and their members. NWF's Certified Wildlife Habitat Program helps to create and restore habitat and wildlife populations, turning your yard, balcony container garden, work landscape, or roadside green space into a certified wildlife habitat is fun, easy, and can make lasting difference for wildlife. Spring into action with AZA and NWF in creating native habitats near you. We will have information on NWF's certified wildlife habitats here at the zoo. Connecting with nature is healthy for all of us, mentally and physically. Party for the Planet. Spring into Action invites you to connect with nature by recording your observations through iNaturalist app, bringing us all together while safely observing nature where you are. Get outside and enjoy what nature has to offer. So let's hear your questions, and I will try to answer them to the best of my ability. If you have any questions about sustainability, stewardship, Earth Day, or anything about Millbrook or the Trevor Zoo, just go ahead and ask them in the comments here. Looks like our first question is from Diane in Pine Plains. Diane, thank you for tuning in. You mentioned that you mentioned carbon offsets. How specifically, or how does Millbrook actually make that work? It's a great question, and I'd like to say that specifically the way this went about or the way this happened was actually completely leveraged by students. It was really sort of the watershed moment was an alum of Millbrook, Vivian Yu, who did her independent student research project on greenhouse gas emissions at Millbrook School. And she did an incredible audit, an incredible inventory, and her data was incredible and impeccable. So we actually used that to then formulate which was a carbon neutrality planning committee. And that consisted of students, a few choice faculty, and some administrators. And then we went about a collaborative approach and a collaborative process to think about the purchase of carbon offsets. Ultimately, through the voice and the reason and the logic primarily of our students, we went ahead and decided to purchase offsets through a nonprofit organization called Cool Effect. They're based out of California, the West Coast. And we purchased a bundle of offset projects, which are more local in scope in that there's a forest preserve, for example, in Massachusetts, and one in Pennsylvania as well. And we have sort of funded their projects to help us offset some of our carbon or some of our greenhouse gases here at Millbrook. Got another question coming in. It looks as though Jessica would like to know, what is your hope for the future? It's another great question. Specifically, one of my colleagues, to quote him, he says, he always talks about what fills your cup at Millbrook. And specifically, I think the thing that fills my own cup or gives me hope is my interaction and my interface with students. I find deep satisfaction with my environmental science students and the discourse that we have in the class. I think it's really fulfilling work. Obviously, the work that I do with now our Climate Action Plan Committee, my Environmental Council, and then the work that I do with other organizations across the institution really give me hope. George would like to know, we've got another question coming in here. George would like to know, what do you see for Millbrook's future? It's a great question as well. I would like to think specifically that we're going to continue to fight the good fight and continue to bolster some of the initiatives and the programs that we have currently. This was referenced in our earlier piece, but thinking about curriculum and how we can expand that with the theme of stewardship and sustainability. Prime example is our third form curriculum. We're going to be getting our students out on the campus and doing some camping this spring. So we're really looking forward to that. So curriculum is one avenue. We could also start to think about our energy portfolio and whether we expand the size of our solar array or even feasibly invest in something like community solar. So as Kermit the Frog likes to say, it ain't easy being green. And there's a lot of good work to do, but I'm very optimistic in terms of Millbrook and its future and the path that we have towards stewardship and sustainability. How are we doing on questions here? So I think at this point, if you have enjoyed the episode, I'd like to remind you that you can view our previous episodes at Live from the Trevor Zoo on our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/Trevor Zoo Millbrook. Come back next month and join student head curator Amber Hatfield, who will show us her independent science research project where she has been working on lemurs at the zoo. You can also watch our streaming cameras through the zoo 24 hours a day at www.millbrook.org/Trevor Zoo Live. Thanks so much for spending part of your Wednesday with us. If you were in the area, please come and visit us in person. It's easy to make a reservation at our website, which is www.trevorzoo.org. We are open every single day. We'll be back here live from the Trevor Zoo next month. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. Happy Earth Day.